Okay, welcome back to part 2 of Crash and Burn Files with Dr. Safko. Alright, so what I was talking about was creating a nested struct, a struct in a struct, because blood pressure is all part of a physical workup. So suppose you go to the doctor and they want to run your vitals. Before you see the doctor, that's where the nurse comes in and wants to take all your vitals. They put that thing on your finger and cuff your arm, all that kind of stuff. So they track your height, they track your weight, and they give you a body mass index, whether you want it or not. So for big bone people like me, it tells me how terrible my BMI is. But they want to know the pulse. They want to know respiration, oxygen saturation. Now, of course, we're not going to be using any of this, and we'll create, for this. But I want to show you that now we can use the BP blood pressure. So we're now using a struct and a struct. The only thing I want to say about it is, at least in most compilers, you have to declare the struct first before you use it later. Some compilers don't do second compilings and say, oh, I don't see this here. Maybe it's coming up later. No, you've got to declare it first. And if there was a struct, and if this is used in a struct somewhere else, you have to declare that later on. So it doesn't have a crystal ball. If it needs something, you have to tell it ahead of time. Okay, so now we've got this vitals here. So let me, first of all, tidy things up here. I will get rid of that. I will create a vitals struct for my vitals. Okay. And just looking at some things here, suppose I know that maybe my diastolic with my vitals is 70. Maybe I want to set that ahead of time. My vitals dot. Okay, there's everything listed in here. Again, alphabetical order, blood pressure, another dot, diastolic equals 70. See all these dot methods? We can just string them all along for as many as we have, as many as we need. How many structs can be in a struct? I don't know. How much memory you got? How much storage you got? How much patience you got before this thing crashes again? As many as you want. Okay. And so the goal of this is to show you that we can put this information within another struct and access it either directly like this, or let's see, if I send in, well, I'd have to rewrite it, but if I send it to the print info and not BP, but vitals, then it's no longer input.systolic, but input.blood pressure.systolic, and same thing there. Oops, right there. And any of the other data, see out your pulse ox, which is input dot the oxygen saturation. Come on. Okay. And notice I'm doing this little trick over here. When you're in just command mode, printing out, you, oh, little prompt there, space for prompt. And that. You might want to line things up to make things show a little bit easier. Now, this is for when we're in command line. If we're in GUI mode, then we have to make sure that we have things lined up nicely. Sometimes it'll drive you crazy if something just doesn't want to quite line up under something. Maybe you might want to use a /T escape sequence for tabbing over. Again, most professional work you do will probably be GUI based, so things will line up nicely there depending on the GUI formats. But when we're doing command line like this, making it look like this will be just fine. Okay, so I just wanted to share this with you, struct within a struct. Okay, I was so close to getting everything finished, but we had to it all crashed. Anyway, that's what I need to talk about with structs, and you can read more about it in chapter 11, and this will be very valuable to you when you do your lab. Okay, bye for now.